G'day, ladies and gentlemen. There's furious debates online about how much overweight people should pay for clothing. Jaguar, the car company, has decided in their infinite wisdom to go woke, and no one can understand why. Their stock price is plummeting. We catch up with the gender ambassador to Australia, which I didn't know was a thing, but it is. And you will not believe the hate incidents that are happening in the UK that people are getting in trouble for and being questioned by the police over. Ladies and gentlemen, all that and more in today's episode of the Butterfield Broadcast News Service Systems. Let's get into it. Jaguar, you know, the car that your auntie drives after the divorce? Yeah, that beautiful machine. Well, it's gone into absolute meltdown, and this is proof that if you decide to hire people straight out of university, particularly people who are either Gen Z or Gen X with a little bit of, real wokeness thrown in, you will get the worst marketing advice of all time. Think Bud Light, think Disney, think any of those companies that destroyed their reputation, and now Bud Light are having to rebuild after just absolutely plummeting to the lowest levels they've been in many, many years since the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing last year. But that's what Jaguar are doing right now with this incredible advertisement that they posted last week. Okay, straight up, we've got a lot of representation, which is important. We've got 2 black women, we've got 3 black women, an Asian woman, a trans woman, a lady with a bad haircut, a man with an awful haircut, possibly looks like a very creepy dude. Like, I'm not going to say serial killer, but I'm sure he's not, but he looks like he could be one. He could play one in a movie, that's what I'm saying. And we've got a fucking dude at the back who would not look out of place at a fucking skinhead rally. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we've got here. We have the gender diverse, the DEI crowd getting out of an elevator, and I'm excited to see what they do to really push this car company to the brink of collapse. They will create exuberant. Cool. Let's live vivid. Let's have a look at a car, shall we? Have we got a new car? There's the dude. Delete ordinary. Now you're upside down. Break molds. You look like the chick from fucking Game of Thrones. You know, the big lady with the big knight lady who definitely has a bigger clit than I do dick, allegedly. We look in opposite directions. Copy nothing. Jaguar. Okay, I'll be honest, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's fucking stupid. It's fucking just shit ass. It's so bad. It's just ridiculous. It means nothing. I guess it's designed to get people talking, and that is what I'm doing, but nonetheless, what the fuck is all that? I hate art. I really, really do. I really despise art, particularly that art that you're supposed to respect, that type of shit. Not a fan of that at all. And I just don't understand, like, this marketing tactic. Who are they trying to sell cars to? Their cars can cost upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're trying to sell their cars to people who would consider themselves woke and progressive? Jaguar, do you really think that someone who walks around with their Instagram bio reading Free Ukraine, Free Palestine, Free Kony 2012, Black Lives Matter, he, him, she, her, they, them, do you think they're really going to buy a car off you? Do you think they really have $200,000, $300,000 to buy a brand new fucking souped up Jaguar? Do you really think these people have a budget for that in between the costs of their monthly antipsychotic medication and their allowance from the government? They do not. They don't even have enough time to save the fucking Down syndrome fucking pandas, let alone buy a Jaguar. So why advertise them? Well, the boss of Jaguar has defended the company's new move away from the traditional automotive stereotypes. Stereotypes? Look at these people in that ad. That is no one. That is 0 people. And apparently this clip has met with a barrage of vile hatred and intolerance. No one is intolerant to this shit. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. Everyone is intolerant to this shit. It's not one group of people. Everyone looks at that and goes, who the fuck are these fucking people? It's not that bad. Let's be honest. Let's not be too outraged for no reason. But what they are doing probably should outrage you more than the ad. What they're trying to do is leverage people to be outraged. They're trying to make people outraged so they talk about their product, and it's working. But they're also trying to leverage against people like the LGBT community. They're trying to use them to outrage people to talk about their fucking cars or talk about their business. And that's got to be a real dodgy thing. That's not overly ethical, you wouldn't think. So fuck you, Jaguar. And plenty of people are furious about this. And on the topic of furious, I've got a furious sale on my book, Better Man, right now, ladies and gentlemen. It's on sale 25% off Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And apparently it runs for the whole month now, an extra month, and into December and into fucking January as well. That's what's happening. But on the topic of furiousness, woman sparks furious debate after claiming plus-size Lululemon clothing should cost more. Now, this is an interesting point. If you buy something that is much smaller and you don't have to use as many materials in that smaller item, should it really cost as much as a larger item that has to use many more materials? If you buy a big people mover car with 8 seats, it's going to cost you more than a tiny little fucking sedan thing, isn't it? So maybe a size 6 should be cheaper than a size 6 extra fucking large. And I think this should only be the case for female clothing, obviously, because I'm a 2XL in men's. I'm 6'8", nothing fits me. I look like I'm wearing a fucking crop top, and I don't want it to be more expensive. So let's just calm the farm with that shit, please. But to the ladies watching, I think, I honestly believe that you need to shrink a little bit or fucking pay up, babe. A woman is being slammed after claiming that plus-size clothing should cost more, unleashing a furious tirade to declare normal-sized people shouldn't have to subsidize clothes for fats. I don't know why fats has become a descriptive word of people. People either are fat or they aren't fat. They don't become fats. But anyway, whatever. Stefan Tyler, lead singer of fucking Aerosmith, shared the scathing post to X, previously known as Twitter, showing her Lululemon cart with 2 pairs of the same leggings, one in a size 0 and one in a size 18. Her post was met with fury by many users on the platform, accusing her of being fat-phobic. Fury by a fat lady does scare me quite a bit. You'd hate to be a rotisserie chicken. When fat chicks are scared, I feel like a rotisserie chicken on the dinner table. It's fucking terrifying. I'm a size 6 in Lululemon, said one lady leggings, and I'm very much cool with paying the same price for clothes as someone else purchasing a size 18. That sounds very fair to me. Who the fuck cares about fair? Who cares about fair? Is it fair that that size 18 woman absolutely, without a doubt, stole the food off a starving Ethiopian family? No, allegedly's there. It happened. Sorry, that's a bit hateful for me to say, but hate incidents are on the rise, and that brings me to our next story seamlessly, because in the UK, anything you do that is deemed to be offensive by someone can have you investigated by the police. The hate incidents probed by police, from a tweet about identifying as a fish to a boy calling another a leprechaun, how cops are wasting time on ridiculous cases. This is in a part of the world where knife crime is everywhere. It's happening all the time. So someone identified as a fish, all right, and that got them in trouble. Another called another boy a leprechaun, and that got them in trouble. And these are so-called hate incidents being investigated. Non-crime hate incidents, or NCHIs, are meant to be reserved for cases that are clearly motivated by intentional hostility. Clearly motivated by intentional hostility. And these are the problems with these type of laws. They are so open to interpretation, they mean nothing. And where there is a genuine risk of significant escalation according to government guidance. According to government guidance. Giving the powers that be more power is not a good idea. Stop letting it happen. Details obtained under the Freedom of Information rules by the Times showed a 9-year-old child was among the youngest who had been looked at by the police. Officers recorded incidents against the child, who called a fellow primary school pupil and against 2 schoolgirls who said another student smelled like fish. Well, maybe the kid was an R-word, and maybe those other girls did smell like fish. I mean, is it hateful if it's true? In 2020, former police officer Harry Miller, who was visited by Humberside police for a series of allegedly transphobic tweets, including one which read, "I was assigned mammal at birth, but my orientation is fish. Don't misspecies me." That gets you a visit from the police in England? I don't know what's happening in England, but you people need to vote these fucking idiots out. There needs to be a revolution in your country. This is crazy. There was another person who was reported to Norfolk police for one of these incidents, calling a Welsh person a sheep shagger, being a sheep fucker. Another person got in trouble because they said that asking if a Chinese restaurant's food came with bats. Hilarious. There has to be a difference between being a genuine, hateful piece of shit and just saying that someone smells like fish. There has to be. You can't just call that the same thing. That's bad. They are trying to erode your freedoms one step at a time. And I think this is happening in Australia too with this misinformation bill that recently was rejected by Parliament. But I think maybe, and I was thinking about this morning, maybe that bill was so ridiculous they knew it was going to get rejected. And that's why they tried to push through this other bill about banning under 16s from using social media in Australia, which doesn't sound outrageous. I mean, I think they should be allowed to use it, but whatever. The outrageous part about that is now everyone in this country, if this bill goes through, will have to provide documentation as to who they are, how old they are, where they live to social media companies. That's not a good idea. That's not a good move. That's dangerous. That's more power. That's another step. That's another inch. That's another step closer we are to them taking a mile. But on that topic, there is someone I'd like you to meet. Her name is Stephanie Copus Campbell, Australian government's ambassador for gender equality. She has spent more than $335,000 of taxpayers' money on airfares and hotels in just under 2 years, traveling all over the world. Wow, isn't that fantastic? Would you think that person would spend more time in Australia trying to help, I assume, women that we're talking about here? I'm sure they're not a gender ambassador for men, because fuck men. Wouldn't you try and help the girls in this country? Why are you in other countries? Let me ask you that. Why? And why does it cost $335,000 over 2 years? $150K a year, $180K a year? Really? On top of that, I'd also like an answer to this. How many genders does the gender ambassador recognise? That's interesting. This is a great example of the Australian taxpayer, which represents the American taxpayer, the English taxpayer, the South African taxpayer, any taxpayer, the New Zealand taxpayer, being absolutely mishandled by their government and mistreated and treated like a fucking idiot. They just take shit out of our pockets and give it to these fucking ambassadors to go and travel the world. $355,000. That's a lot of money. Just for travel, that's crazy. I'm a comedian who travels all over the world doing shows. I don't spend anywhere near that type of shit. Maybe throw them in fucking economy class. Stop putting them in business. Fuck me dead. That pisses me off. And it pisses me off in this country because the hospitals are a mess. The nurses aren't getting paid enough. The police aren't getting paid enough. It's fucked. And if you think that was bad, well, fuck you, because it gets worse. Together, the ambassadors for climate change and First Nations people and gender have spent $750,000, $750,000 of taxpayers' money on international travel alone. The climate change ambassador clocked up $260K. Well, I hope they're flying on a fucking electric aeroplane and not electricity made out of coal. You fucking hypocritical. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Big dick stinks. To au revoir. Bye-bye.